It's Friday. I'm Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumor and Innuendo. It's adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. I'm here with none other than Robert Karpelis, WD Creative _ish on X. Robert, what a Friday. We got AEW Full Gear to preview. I got a blue, what is this? A blue moon. We're ready to roll.
You're drinking at noon?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, I think, in London right now. So,
all right, I'll take it. I don't mind. I've still got 5 more hours of work to do. So until I can start having some probably Macallan. Let's call it a Macallan. After we talk about Full Gear, I might need a strong drink right now. But we'll say hi to some of the folks who are joining us. Willie Thornbrew says, "Is SmackDown live or on Memorex?" I believe they're live this evening, pal. Alt Jake says, "Good morning. Just finished the latest working stiff, trying any way to avoid real work. Aren't we all?" Wrestling Old Head said, "Good after morning, R&I peeps. Last minute fifth man predictions. It's probably not going to be Dom if he's drinking.
No, I'd have to sober up a little bit before that.
Or your damn brother, Marcus D'Angelo, that loser.
Look,
he lost his first match.
Did you see he posted a video package and he cut me out of the photo, Robert?
I can't blame him.
Oh, hurtful.
Yeah. Well, when I post this, I'm going to cover up the other side of the screen. I'm going to put a bigger star there, like a Greg Gagne.
Like a Big Boom AJ, maybe.
No, we can't get a star that big.
Oh, my gosh.
The true main event of the week, of the month.
Listen, we are previewing that, and we're going to hold our predictions. That's going to be our last prediction, is that match.
Wonderful. Most important match on the card, so I'm happy to talk about it. So it's like, stay tuned to the end. So we talk about Big Boom AJ and QT Marshall.
Absolutely. All right, Robert, you ready to get to it? Do you want to preview SmackDown first? I did not even look at the SmackDown preview, to be honest.
We don't even need to look at the SmackDown preview to know the only things that genuinely, truly matter for SmackDown are the two outstanding mysteries that they have going into Survivor Series. And there's sort of one of them is bifurcated into two. The other one stands on its own. I think the first is as it relates to the bloodline. We're going to potentially find out, did Paul Heyman ever see what happened on SmackDown last week? Has he been in touch with Roman Reigns? Are we going to find out what what's going on with the Wise Man? And will we potentially find out tonight who the fifth man is going into next Saturday's Survivor Series? It feels as though Seth Rollins is the most logical choice. There are some people out there who have been floating out the possibility of, maybe it'll be CM Punk. Which would be an interesting moment, but a little bit more difficult to really try to fit into the storyline. You could do it. You could let Paul Heyman come out there and talk about Punk being a Paul Heyman guy and all of that nonsense. But then it's like, well, then what was the point of building up Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins unless it's for Punk to antagonize Seth?
Which is
a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
The other key thing on SmackDown is the Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens confrontation. We do not yet to date have an official match for Kevin Owens at Survivor Series. Is it going to be Kevin and Cody? Is it going to be Kevin and Orton, who, got that very devastating looking pile driver? Don't go back and watch it. But what a pile driver it was. One for the ages, an all-timer. So those are sort of the big mysteries. There's the next Women's United States title qualifier triple threat match that I would look up who's in it, but do we really care? And probably the next chapter in the Shinsuke Nakamura going after the United States title. That, to me, Dom, sounds like 2 hours quality programming. Not to mention the tag title situation with DIY and Motor City Machine Guns and the Street Profits. Pick a pencil up to be like, yeah.
That's right. Like Digger Phelps. That's who I'm thinking of. He's got the highlighter. Robert, couple questions for you regarding SmackDown. Would you slow play Paul Heyman's return, or would you expedite the process, have him debut, return tonight? Second question, should Seth be the fifth man? And third question, I forgot. So 2 questions.
Dynamite, just absolutely dynamite. You know what? So here's the advantage to bringing Heyman back now is for Paul to be the one to get in Seth Rollins' ear. and convince him to take this match. That Roman couldn't do it, Jey Uso couldn't do it, Sami Zayn couldn't do it. Maybe it is the gift of gab, Paul Heyman, to try to remind people that Paul is the wise man. Yeah.
Other question I had, is Cody versus Kevin necessary on Survivor Series?
Necessary? No. I don't think it's going to sell an extra ticket. I don't think it's going to cause an extra buy. People are tuning in for War Games. At the same time, if you don't have Cody at all on one of the big 4 pay-per-views, PLEs, my goodness, it's a Friday and you're the one drinking and I'm the one dropping PLE information. I think he needs something with Cody and he needs to defend. It's weird that he's rewarding Kevin Owens for these actions. So I would say you could do the match, and you could do the match without really giving a definitive finish.
Right. What are the odds we see Brock Lesnar become the 5th man?
No. A quick comment here from Alt Jake. Side note, if anyone hasn't listened to the 3-hour podcast Heyman did with Rick Rubin after WrestleMania 49, I highly recommend it. Hell of a conversation. You are absolutely right, Alt Jake. That is an all-timer conversation with Paul Heyman and Rick Rubin. They go a number of different directions, a number of different tangents, and it's really fascinating for the way that Paul breaks down the thought process and the creative. He also has one with Brian Koppelman, friend of the show, former guy who wrote Rounders, former creator of Billions, big wrestling fan. They talk about his creative process as well. And on one of those 2, I don't remember which one it was, they broke down the Cody Heyman promo. When I say that, you all remember which one I'm talking about, the one where they start talking about Dusty and he starts talking about, blending shoot and work, and your dad needed the money and I brought him into ECW. You know how much he means to me and how much you mean to me. And oh, by the way, Brock Lesnar, not Brock Lesnar, you got him. Roman Reigns is going to murder you.
Yeah.
Such fun stuff. So smart. And when you hear the creative mind like Paul Heyman talk about this kind of stuff and break down why things are happening with intention, it's why you get further frustrated by some of what's going on with AEW going into this Full Gear pay-per-view. Because on paper, the card, a lot of these matches sound fantastic. You're going to, you want to see Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher? Of course you do. You want to see Jay White, Hangman Adam Page? Of course you do. Even the prospect of Orange Cassidy, John Moxley in a bubble sounds like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. It
When
does.
you start actually looking at why these things are happening, it's a little tough. And Wrestling Old Head doing I can do a great John Malkovich from Rounders impression. Anyone who went to college in the early 2000s, you heard a lot of that John Malkovich Rounders impression.
Absolutely. We had Thursday night poker nights when we were in college, so
yes,
speaks to it.
Big strong man. Well, this could go down that path.
Give that man his money.
Pay that man his money.
There you go.
I can't do the best line, because it's inappropriate for verbiage.
That's correct.
Why the F did you lay that down? Lays down a monster. Speaking of monster, we got a monster card to get through in a short amount of time. But it's one of those things where they've done all the prep, but this show could be a little limp. And guys, you knew it was coming, and you hope it's coming because Blue Chew. And I know what you're wondering: does Blue Chew work? If you're asking that question, we want you to know that Blue Chew is putting their money where their mouth is by giving you a month free. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, you will receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, It's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. We know you want your gear full and you want to be able to drop that big boom like AJ, because Blue Chew wants all men out there rock hard. They told me that's the mission. They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. We have a special deal for our audience. Try Blue Chew free. Just pay $5 shipping at checkout when you visit BlueChew.com. That's BlueChew.com to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring Rumor and Innuendo.
Yes, thank you, Blue Chew. Indeed, indeed. Hey, we're going to have to be thankful for this very big card this weekend on Full Gear. And let's kick it off. We're saving the best for last, but let's start off with, you mentioned it just a little bit ago, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Would it hurt Fletcher to lose this match? Would it hurt Ospreay to lose this match? What's your prediction on this? How do you think it should go to?
So I think given the outcome that we're going to get for a lot of matches on this card, Tony's going to want the audience to have a feel-good moment. You can absolutely have Will Ospreay catch Kyle Fletcher with a quick 1, 2, 3, and then Fletcher after the match totally go nuts and now is even more consumed with wanting revenge and rage and all that. On the other hand, you can see a situation where Fletcher cheats and gets the win over Ospreay, and then that becomes his signature crowning achievement, which you hope that they follow through on. You remember Danny Garcia beat Bryan Danielson, and he was using the Dragon Slayer move for a couple weeks, and then they just kind of forgot all about it. So either way, I think the story is far from over. However, I believe, given some of the other outcomes we're going to see on here, you're going to want that happy, happy, joy, joy moment of Ospreay getting the win.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Ospreay gets the win, and I also think that it would not hurt Fletcher. You can definitely tell more of a story. You can kind of have him that be his white whale, so to speak. So we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship, a fatal 4-way match. Private Party, the champions, defending their gold against the Outrunners. The Kings of the Black Throne. Wow, they changed their name. And the Acclaimed.
Who's in Kings of the Black Throne?
That would be Malachi Black. And is it? I don't even know. And Brody King?
Damn it, Dom. Let me try this again. The joke was going to be that it's Malachi Black, Brody King. I would then say, who's Brody King? Pointing out that he was supposed to do our show and due to travel, didn't do it. And then we all have a good laugh. You've trampled all over it. Thanks, Dom. Earning your pay here. You are the gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah, I just genuinely didn't know who they were.
Look, I would be shocked if Private Party were to lose these tag titles, given how quickly they just won them. They've not really done anything of any real importance. My hope, I would love, as Dre Owens puts here, for the Outrunners winning. I think the Outrunners are wildly entertaining, but it feels like they're probably going to have a date with FTR. So you keep the tag titles on Private Party and hope that they can build on their popularity going forward. You know, they just got that win over the Young Bucks. They just got that last win over the Young Bucks 5 short years ago. So strike while the iron, it could not be any colder.
Yeah, it's kind of neat though. They did pair them up with the Big Boom and all that. The Costco
really
guy.
Giving them the big rub.
The big rub for that. So
big rub with the pre-show guy.
Yeah, that's it. So you got to make it happen. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Private Party retains, and I think they should retain if you want to build them further. This is an interesting one. International Championship match. Konosuke Takeshita taking on Ricochet.
So they just added that. That was not an official match as of a couple days ago. That being said, I think it'll be a strong outing. I don't see any situation where you want to take that title off Takeshita right now. So Ricochet losing here because of some sort of tomfoolery, and then maybe the reverse tomfoolery later with Kyle Fletcher. A lot of tomfoolery on one show, but hey, it's a pay-per-view.
Yep, you can make it happen. Yeah, I think you're really building. They had Takeshita get the big win this past Wednesday in the 4-man tag match. So keep him hot, keep him going. You want the Don Callis family to not lose momentum, even despite having people lose in that faction. We have Jay White taking on Hangman Adam Page. Robert, I was very excited for the build, this potential build for this feud, and what these two could do with it. I think they've underserved both these guys in build to this match up until Full Gear, but still should be a very good match. How do you see this going?
I think it'll be a strong match. I think they'll both want to try to steal the show, which really should not be terribly hard for them to potentially do, given the intensity of this match. That being said, I would be concerned with beating Hangman Page here. Jay White beat him in their last go round. This is now the super focused, I burn people's houses down Hangman Adam Page. So you need some sort of an extreme whatever. It's crazy to think a year ago at Full Gear is when there was the blood drinking with
Wow.
Swerve and Hangman. So, clearly the blood has worn off. So maybe Hangman needs to, I don't know, eat one of his fingers. I don't know what the next step is off of blood drinking, but
Is he a vampire?
why not?
Yeah.
Why not make Hangman a vampire? Hell yeah.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah, why not?
He's a vampire. That's how you can bring back Adam Copeland. He's now back as a vampire again.
Ooh, there you go. I like it.
Is Copeland cleared yet?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Who knows, though? Maybe he will show up tomorrow. Hey, who will be showing up? Maybe, because he was kidnapped. Could be the TNT champion, Jack Perry. He's supposed to defend his title against the guy who kidnapped him, and Daniel Garcia. Yeah, Robert, what do you feel about this match? Who should win? How you progress this?
I feel bad saying I don't care, but it's such a, Jack Perry, the whole purpose of him having the TNT title was that the Elite all had the gold.
Yeah.
You had Kazuchika Okada with the Continental title, the Young Bucks with the tag titles, and I know, yeah, and not Jungle Boy Jack Perry as the TNT champion. Now that the Young Bucks are just off television, they hightailed it. Okada, I guess, is resting up for this Continental Classic tournament. The purpose of having Jack Perry be TNT champion has kind of outlived its usefulness. That being said, I think Danny Garcia could be better served in the Continental Classic tournament, having great matches, rather than this kind of odd feud. Because let's say Danny Garcia does win.
Okay.
Where do you go with Jack Perry? He doesn't have the Elite to fall back on. He just becomes a guy. Whereas if Danny Garcia were to lose by some way, shape, or form, he can enter that tournament and go pursue Okada.
I kind of think, I think you could, I would say Garcia might win this on Saturday, because I think what you could do with Perry is something akin to what Game of Thrones did with what's the guy's name? They called him Reek in it. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes, I know. Okay. I know who you're talking about. I know that. I know this. I get the situation, but
yeah,
they've done so many weird character pivots with the scapegoat.
It is true
since he's been back. They just wore his bus. He was kidnapped. I don't know. Again, this is one that to waste the brain power on it. But I am really excited to see Christian Cage versus Hook.
Yes, that is happening. Is it not?
It's not on the pay-per-view.
I was like looking at the card. I'm like, I'm not saying.
They spent so much time telling that story of who attacked Taz, and then you get the reveal, and then nothing.
Nothing. Well, what is on this card still is Swerve Strickland taking on Bobby Lashley. Swerve has gotten the upper hand on Bobby this past Wednesday. Kind of feel like Bobby will get the upper hand in this match, considering it's his big pay-per-view debut for AEW. But what do you think, Robert?
Yeah, you can't beat Lashley in his first match. Swerve can always recover. I wouldn't be totally shocked if we saw Leo Rush align with the Hurt Syndicate, and that somehow plays a fact in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think, you could they've teased Leo Rush being in there, so it kind of would make sense. Maybe he shows up and costs Swerve something. Swerve, if you will.
I see what you did there, bro.
How about that? All right, we also have Mercedes Moné, TBS champion, taking on Chris Statlander. Titles on the line. Robert, what do you think?
I think I will be fast forwarding. No, I think Chris Statlander is very talented. I just think Mercedes Moné has just been so lacking in everything she's done. This is the possibility for Camille to cost Mercedes the title due to a miscommunication. But then it's, again, who do you go from there with either person? I don't know that there's necessarily a dream match waiting for Chris Statlander or a dream match waiting for Mercedes Moné. But the challenge is when both of the women's titles are held by heels, it lacks a little bit of originality, a little bit of freshness.
Yeah, I think, like I said yesterday, I think you could get away with Chris Statlander beating Mercedes Moné and just have them both pivot on and do something different because, yeah, you want to, I don't know. I think you want to build Chris Statlander. You have brought Mercedes Moné to build your brand. This is a way she can do it. So let's just make it happen. I think Chris Statlander becomes a new TBS champion and Mercedes Moné moves on to hopefully bigger and better things.
To what?
Women's title, but we already have a heel holding that too, so I'm not sure.
That's kind of my point there, Dom.
I know, right?
The more and more I talk about this show, the sadder and sadder I get. And speaking of sad,
yes.
Roderick Strong, the king of promos, the king of charisma, the king of excitement, is going to be taking on the returning MJF.
Yes, Robert did not really sell us too much, I would say, on Wednesday for this match. But what do you think? What happens here?
Can I tell you my fear?
Yes, I want to hear the fear. Hear the fear.
It's Roderick Strong versus MJF. Adam Cole was out there. The Undisputed Kingdom is out there. And Taven and Bennett turn on Roderick Strong, align with MJF, and then we get the those two and MJF versus Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly.
I think you just booked it, Robert.
I hate everything. I don't want those goofs anywhere near Max. I want Max on to something bigger and better or different or something or just not this. And I have a feeling that I am wrong. And we are going to get the weirdest tanned trio in wrestling.
Remember when Max had a big guy named Wardlow?
No.
No, you don't remember that?
Never heard of him. I would have remembered Max having Scott over. I would remember Max, like, what if he was in a stable?
Yeah.
Like, they would be the pinnacle of wrestling.
Right? And you could have a legend in there with him and accentuate a great tag team.
I'm begging you. We got 2 matches to go before I officially am just like, if this is making you want to buy Full Gear, folks, you can just send us the $50.
Hey, yeah, we'd take it.
Yeah, we would.
Hey,
we would even divide it equally, but not really.
AEW World Championship, Robert. Orange Cassidy challenging Jon Moxley, who's got some plans in mind, it seems. I think John teased that he's got something big's going to happen here at the end of the show. What do you think? What's he got in mind? What do you think happens in this pseudo main event? Let's call it.
I think that we're going to see kind of a rehash of the Claudio Darby match from Dynamite. It's going to be a lot of hope spots and then beat down, hope spot and then beat down, hope spot and then beat down over and over and over for quite a while. Hopefully there's some blood and some intensity. Maybe we find out the contents of that suitcase, that briefcase. Maybe it's Shane. Maybe it's not.
He's in the briefcase?
Yes, Shane's in the briefcase. Wow. There's no way that they take the title off of Moxley. So it's less about who's going to win and more about what the big reveal is at the end. I think part of what's the most disheartening for me is if you have Kenny Omega clear, why was he not the guy to return at the end of this show to go after Moxley? If you need somebody who's going to be the heart and soul and face of AEW, the only other guy that could theoretically be is Eddie Kingston. I don't know how far off Eddie Kingston is from being cleared.
I think he's still got a few months away. Could you see the story of Kenny Omega aligning with Jon Moxley because of what the Young Bucks and the Elite did to him?
Maybe, but the Elite are the Young Bucks at least are off TV for quite a while. And I think if you've got a guy who needs to defend All Elite Wrestling, it should be Kenny Omega, who's the guy most synonymous with that company.
Yeah,
Wrestling has more than one babyface.
That's right. Yeah, Moxley's got to win this. We'll see what happens, though. But let's get to the real main event here, everyone. It's QT Marshall challenging Big Boom AJ on the pre-show. 0 hour, some may call it. We got the Rizzler involved. We got Big Justice involved. Maybe Double Choco Chunk is going to get involved somehow. Robert, you have booked QT Marshall for an event upcoming for yourself. But what do you think of this match itself going down?
QT Marshall has created what may be the most entertaining feud in All Elite Wrestling. It is the most mainstream feud in All Elite Wrestling. This was on The Tonight Show. This is involving a celebrity that, unfortunately, a lot of people know, which is the Costco guy. Yes, this is going to be a happy, joy moment. You're going to let the guy live out his dream. QT will take the whooping. What I would love to see, and I texted this to the group, and I'm just going to share this here. I'm dead serious on this, by the way. you have AJ and Big Justice and the Rizzler and the whatever. They were legitimately on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. They legitimately have a match in an arena on an AEW pay-per-view. How is this not the exact sort of thing that Jon Moxley is rallying against when he's talking about this company needs to be fixed, this company needs to be righted, I need to purge and cleanse, letting a YouTube star, letting a nobody, a guy who has not wrestled on a large stage ever, some independent goof who made videos with his children, yes, your brother, is allowed to wrestle in an AEW ring, in the same AEW ring that the AEW world title is being defended. I want Moxley to destroy this guy. I want there to be a segment where he is beating the hell out of this AJ guy, his kid screaming, whatever the hell the Rizzler is screaming. I want this to be the catalyst for Moxley to be able to send a wake-up call to the locker room like, you're not on this pay-per-view and this guy's on this pay-per-view because you guys can't cut it, because this is what this company measures as success. This is what I'm trying to rid this industry of. And anybody who disagrees with me is going to wind up just like Bryan Danielson, just like Darby Allin, just like AJ, the Costco trying sample guy.
Man, that would hurt my heart to see that happen, but I think you make a compelling case for it to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that's the wouldn't be a bad thing, because imagine kicking off. You have this on your 0 hour show, free for everybody to watch, and then Jon Moxley does what we've been telling them to do for weeks on end, is make this mean something, make it feel like a big deal, make it feel violent.
By the way, the flip on that is if you do this on Dynamite and you have Moxley murder QT.
Okay.
You call yourself a wrestler, you lost to a guy on YouTube.
Oh, there you go.
But what do I know? I'm not a great wrestling booker mind. But you know who is a great wrestling booker mind? That's Greg Gagne.
Yeah, that's true.
And former WCW executive, Magnum TA.
Absolutely. Yes. Every week we go live, usually Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Greg and I and Magnum and I, we recorded an episode this past week. You can check it out. It's available on 4horsemannetwork.com. And we're going to look out today on the podcast feed. Go to 4 Horsemen Network, and you'll see a new doubleheader episode. The last 2 weeks of the episode will be a super, super episode you can check out and enjoy for Thanksgiving weekend. So subscribe to 4 Horsemen Network on your podcast feed of choice. Rob and I, RVD, recorded a live episode of One of a Kind, and we had a record number. 11,000 people tuned in last night to check out the show. And so thanks to everybody for tuning into that. But you can check a new episode every Monday at 4:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on rvdtv.com. And you can just type it in, One of a Kind with RVD, on your podcast feed of choice. So tune into that. Robert, you and Scott recorded a new episode of Working Stiff.
Scotty and I recorded a new Working Stiff, which you can get wherever you get your audio podcast. We talked AEW, we talked Full Gear, we talked WWE, we talked a lot of wrestling news, a lot of comedy stuff. Just well worth your time to go check out. And while you're there, you can also get the audio version of all the episodes of Rumor and Innuendo in case you missed a day and you want to hear us. But we will be back as we are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WW Creative _ISH X account, the SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Working Stiff, and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the man with a purple hue, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah, Choco Double Chunk, whatever it's called. Costco guys, big boom.